Making his pick, President Trump, at his New Jersey country club this weekend, where he will decide on his Supreme Court nominee, with the three finalists leading the pack. The commander-in-chief giving a preview of this monumental choice last night at a campaign-style rally in Montana.
As you know, there's now a vacancy on the Supreme Court. And if you turn in Monday at 9 o'clock, I think you're going to be extremely happy with the selection, right? And they're all great. They're all great.
Here now, Hugo Gurdon, Washington Examiner editorial director. Hugo, there's much fanfare surrounding this nomination. Once we find out who the nominee is, and if you have any ideas among the three finalists, please tell us. But how big of a fight is this going to be with the Democrats over this nominee?
It's an absolutely huge fight, Dagan, and you know, it's going to be perhaps the biggest fight since the Clarence Thomas fight. You know, really, the Democrats are in a reasonably strong position in that they have the Republicans only have 51 votes in the Senate, and if John McCain, who is obviously very ill, doesn't turn up to vote, then the Democrats only have to peel away one Republican vote in order to kill whoever is nominated. The Democrats want to inflict a defeat no matter which person the president nominates. But they have particular reasons for each and every one of those. I think the one that they most want to make sure does not get nominated or gets defeated is Amy Barrett, because she has become a judicial star. She would actually be the sort of brave choice, because she would undermine the Democrats' suggestion and constant contention that the Republicans and President Trump are sort of anti-women. And if she were on the court and a case came up that allowed the restriction on Roe versus Wade, the abortion law, you know, it would undermine the claim that it was just men who made this decision. So she'd be perhaps the brave choice. I can't tell you which one of the three, however, is the most likely choice. Well,
with Amy Barrett, during her confirmation last year for the 7th the Circuit Court of Appeals, she was hammered on her stance on abortion because of her Catholic faith. And again, that would be the central line of attack from Democrats on that. But I will point out that Joe Donnelly, a Democrat up for re-election in the state of Indiana, voted for, as did Joe Manchin in West Virginia, those being states that President Trump won during 2016. So there is some political calculation in that.
There's a lot of political calculation. You're exactly right. There are several Democrats who do not want to be seen to be opposing a woman, who have already voted for her, and indeed some Republicans like Susan Collins, who is the particular target of a campaign by Democratic organizations to kind of flip her against any nominee. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's a lot of political calculation, and the Democrats are also weakened by the fact that their former majority leader basically got rid of the filibuster, and Mitch McConnell applied that to the Supreme Court. So they have to, the Republicans can get a nominee through on a majority vote rather than having to face a filibuster. So there's a lot of politics that goes into this. It depends now, I think, whether President Trump, who generally tries to make the dramatic and brave choice, and which suggests to me that it might be Amy Barrett, if he feels that he has a better chance of getting, say, Ray Kethledge through, then perhaps, you know, who is less well-known, less of a star, but nevertheless a solid conservative textualist, then maybe, you know, he would go for Kethledge.
Hugo, Steve Forbes is here.
Hi, Hugo.
Hey, Steve. Hi,
Steve Forbes here. In terms of the politics, you mentioned about the 51 Republicans, but you alluded to the fact there's a lot of Democrats running in red states for re-election this year. How many of them are going to go against a popular choice of President Trump? One of the things about these three choices, they've all been through the fires of confirmation. They know how to handle themselves. They're not going to embarrass themselves. And so it sounds like McConnell thinks he can get this thing done before the next Supreme Court session, because there'll be 3 or 4 Democrats who are going to have to vote for the nominee, presentable nominee, with the tight re-election races coming up.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bet, Steve. And the point you make is exactly right. You know, it's going to be very difficult for people like Heidi Heitkamp and Joe Manchin and Donnelly to go against somebody that they have voted for before. They also are calculating, okay, if this nominee is going to get through, why do I want to be the person who votes against her, and that can be used against me in my re-election campaign in a red state? If there's a sense that someone's going to get through, you certainly don't want, as a Democrat, to stick your neck out and get your head cut off at the next election.
Hugo, President Trump, moving on to more from the president last night. He was taking aim at Democrats Maxine Waters and Senator Elizabeth Warren in his speech last night. Listen to this.
She is a low IQ individual, Maxine Waters. I said it the other day. I mean, honestly, she's somewhere in the mid-60s, I believe that. Pocahontas, I apologize to you. To the fake Pocahontas, I won't apologize. Now even the liberals are saying, take a test. Take a test.
How does Trump's branding of the Democratic Party, or at least certain members of that party, help the GOP in November? Do the attacks help or hurt?
It's a difficult calculation. They certainly help President Trump. He has a very odd, unusual technique, put it that way. He both draws attention to people and belittles them at the same time, diminishes them. Calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas is to make her look small. Talking about Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren's IQ, in the 60s is to make them look small. It's meant to be very funny, and obviously the audience there finds it funny. I don't know whether it helps or it hurts. It's an expression of contempt, kind of humorous contempt, and belittles the Democrats. That worked for President Trump in 2016. Whether that helps in 2018 for the midterm elections, it's a really difficult one to say.
Do you think, Hugo, that the Democrats realize that people like Maxine Waters are perfect for Donald Trump, perfect foil, puts the Democrats in an unfavorable position by doing that kind of thing? By the way, with Pocahontas, I don't know why he doesn't call her Fakeahontas, but anyway, maybe that'll come next.
Well, that'll be a good line, and perhaps he'll adopt that. Now, Steve, I think that, I think there are some Democrats, Nancy Pelosi being one of them, who realize that Maxine Waters in particular is an embarrassment. She makes ridiculous suggestions and very extreme suggestions, but frankly, Elizabeth Warren also talks in an extreme way, but the base absolutely loves her. So there's this constant calculation about, are these people who I think a lot of sensible people and a lot of people perhaps on this panel would regard as somewhat ridiculous and embarrassing in what they say. They do, however, gin up the base, and that's something that
Hugo,
the Democrats need to do.
Do you think the Democrats will fall into the trap of making impeachment an issue? If they do, that's going to arouse the base of the GOP like nothing, if they think that's where this thing is going to be headed. Is the extreme of the Democrat Party going to fall into that trap?
It's going to be they certainly want it. I mean, there's about a 70% support for impeachment in the base. Nancy Pelosi was there when President Clinton was impeached, knows that there was a backlash in the 1998 election against the Republicans for that. The public in general does not like to see what is clear sort of political move against a president that they elected, so it would backfire. But it doesn't mean to say that with that kind of surge from the base wanting it, that it isn't going to happen. If I had to bet, I'd say it won't happen and that the leadership will resist it, but they're going to have to push back very hard against base pressure.
Hugo, great to see you this morning.
Thanks very much for having me,
Hugo
Dagan.
Gurdon as well. Have a fantastic weekend.